We have here Heather Wurtele's new Parlee TT1R time trial bike. She's only just been on this bike this season and it's a pretty striking looking machine. Let's start by looking at the cockpit, and this is all Parlee design. Very much aero here with all the cables in underneath. You can see the flat aero base bars. But the most unique thing about this, specifically for Heather's bike, because she rides such an aggressively aero position, they couldn't actually get the poles low enough, but we're going to be talking to her a little bit more about that later on. Now she's using Shimano Dura Ace and she's got shifters on the ends of her base bars and on the ends of her poles here. She's also using the Garmin Edge 520 bike computer on her poles. And then keeping with the aero position, Heather's using the X-Lab Stealth Pocket 200 top tube bag here just to keep some nutrition. We're seeing more disc brakes in triathlon now, and this is no exception here. Heather's using the TRP disc brakes, and an interesting feature on this bike is actually got a carbon cover over the discs to add for that extra aerodynamics. Let's have a look at the chainrings, and you can see it's the Q-ring design, and she's using the 2-in-1 Rotor power meter. And it's actually molded so there are no bolts needed for that. And on those, she's got 175mm length cranks with Shimano Dura Ace pedals on the end of those. And for this race, Heather's going to be using the 5339 chainrings and an 1125 cassette. And you might notice here she's actually got Shimano Ultegra rear mech, and you might spot these little red jockey wheels. They're actually CeramicSpeed. Right, onto the wheels, and Heather's been sponsored by Enve for quite a few years, so she's got the aero Enve disc wheel on the front, and then on the back, Enve don't actually make a disc, so this is actually a head wheel, and then on that she's using the Schwab Pro 1 tyres. She's got 23mm on the front and a 25mm tyre on the back. Well, as we know, Heather is very tall, so I can just about reach up to the saddle. She's using the Physique Antares VS saddle here, and she's actually taped in all of her spares underneath to keep them out of the way for aerodynamics. She's using the Gorilla X-Lab bottle cage where she's going to have her hydration on race day, and then she's also got the Elite Aero bottle cage on the down tube here. Cool, well Heather, let's take a quick look at your actual kit that you're going to be using on race day. So we start talking us through your wetsuit.
Sure. So I wear the Aqua Sphere Phantom wetsuit. This is actually a men's small. It's always a challenge for me, being as tall and thin as I am, to find the suits that fit perfectly, but it works well. It's just a little short on the arms and the legs. But yeah, and like the superhero blue as well, so always a little stand out at the start.
Superhero, is that you call it superhero blue?
Absolutely. That's what I feel like when I put it on. So.
I like it.
Yeah.
Well, you've just touched on fit there, and I know you're very excited about this piece of kit. Should I hold it whilst you talk us through it?
This is the best thing ever. Really thrilled to be working with Endura this year. They're a fantastic company based out of Scotland that make really amazing aerodynamic kits. It's the first time I've ever had a one-piece trisuit that really fit me properly. Being tall and thin, I was just sort of always rocking like the men's medium default suits that never really quite fit, under the arms, and just weren't that aerodynamic, a little flappy around the chest because I'm just quite narrow. So this suit fits brilliantly. It has these incredible aerodynamic chevrons on the shoulders.
It's very nice to touch. But
yeah, so they've done a lot of wind tunnel testing, and so it's just creating little vortex generators on your arms, because that's what's seeing the wind when you're in the aero position. So a lot of brilliant science behind this suit, but also it's just incredibly comfortable and really aero. It doesn't flap. It's really light and thin, and so it stays cool on race day. And so, yeah, super stoked about this.
Yeah, we can tell you are. It's awesome. Great to look at it. And something else that's quite new, and we've got two versions here. Should we look at this helmet first?
Sure. So another super cool thing from Endura and Drag to Zero is they have a sort of a 2-in-1 helmet. So this is the training version, and then you can just take the tail off the aero part and the visor off, and then you get this. So it's the same helmet. It's the exact same helmet. This is just so you don't have to buy two helmets because they're not exactly cheap. And then you have your training helmet and your racing helmet all in one. So you're only packing one thing when you're going to races. You don't need to look like a goof doing all your training in your aero helmet. You can just wear this. So it really is.
And do you always race in this one as is, with the visor and with the tail, or would you ever race with
because
glasses?
I'm depending actually on the terrain. If maybe you were expecting a ton of side wind or something, you could just choose to opt for the aero road version. But yeah, for this course, definitely the time trial version.
All right, Heather, I've obviously had a good look at your bike, and one of the things that really fascinates me is your aero bars coming out underneath. Talk me through this.
Yeah, well, this is the Parlee TTIR. They have a proprietary base bar, really nice carbon design, all of their own, but I have a pretty aggressive position. And so for me to get in the position I wanted, we had to mount the aero bar extensions underneath the base bar. And so it works really nice for my position. Just, yeah, with my arms like that, but they're coming out underneath the base bar. So, yeah, so we just had to do a little bit of our own work to get that to be nicely that way. They're actually designed to be underneath the arm pads on the top of the base bar. But for us, that was just the setup that worked to nail the position.
Yeah, you really do have an aggressive position. I like it. You've got your Garmin mounted here. What numbers do you look at? What do you have on your screen when you're racing?
I have speed, I have average power, I have real-time power, and distance.
So yeah, just talk me through your Rotor cranks that you've got on the bike here.
Yeah, so this is a really sweet new piece of kit. They're the Rotor 2 and power cranks. So power measured at the crank. And what's really cool too is the Q rings are they're all one piece, so there's no bolts between the big and the small. It's all cut out of one piece of aluminum, which is looks really nice, stiffer, lighter. So that whole setup is just really beautiful. Yeah, really nice.
Okay, and whilst we're sort of in this area, hydration, you've got a bottle here and you've got the cage here. Is that all the hydration you carry on this bike, and do you change anything for race day?
No, this is the race setup on the bike. Yeah, usually for halves I only have 2 bottles. I like having one where I can change it in and out, and then this one, the aerodynamic bottle on the frame, I sort of save with my hydration for the end.
And what do you put in your bottles, and what's your nutrition plan for race?
I use First Endurance EFS Pro lemon flavor. It's really nice. It's not very sweet. It just tastes like lemon water. Really high in electrolytes, especially for a super hot, sweaty race like this one. And so it's really important for me to have my own nutrition. And then I usually just get on course water. Okay, and what do you keep in your top 2 bag? Yeah, in my top 2 bag, it might even be in here, I have a flask of First Endurance, their electrolyte. It's liquid shot, so it doesn't have any gelling agents, so it's easier to digest in your stomach than gel, but it's like a gel type consistency. So it's electrolytes and sugar and yeah.
Okay, and I think finally, I just want to know, obviously you were on Cervelo last year and you're new to this bike, and this is the first time we've looked at a Parlee bike as on GTN. How does it ride? How does it feel? How do you like this bike?
You know, it was one of those things where I've ridden a lot of really nice bikes in my day, and yet you hop on it and you're just going, oh, this is a fun bike to ride. It honestly feels more like a road bike than a TT bike. It has this real sort of peppiness and stiffness about the frame, and what I like the most is just this really great feeling of power transfer. Like every little bit of energy you put into the pedals, you're just rocking forward on this bike. And for sure, especially compared to the P5X I was on before, it's very light. And so that's nice too. You just feel sort of springy, and it's a very well designed bike, and I'm very happy to be riding it.
We are very privileged to have had a look at it. Thank you very much.
Cool.
Well, sadly Heather's actually had to dash, but it's still been really interesting getting to see a new bike on the triathlon circuit, and I've certainly found it interesting myself. And if you don't want to miss any other of our videos from GTN, hit the globe to subscribe. And Mark did a video looking at the difference between rim brakes and disc brakes in a road bike, and that video can be found just here. And if you want to find any other pro bike videos, then they can be found just here.